Today we are talking about Darragh Ennis. Known to millions as the Menace, the formidable sixth chaser on ITV's legendary quiz show The Chase, Darragh has been a constant presence across ITV's daytime lineup for years. And now, in one of the most raw and emotionally powerful television moments in recent memory, he has broken his silence on a private family crisis that he had been desperately trying to hide, even from himself. For those who might be less familiar with Darragh, here is a little context. He joined The Chase back in 2020, becoming the sixth professional quizzer to take on the role of chaser alongside household names like Ann Hegarty, Mark Labbett, and Paul Sinha. Before that life on screen, Darragh had carved out a remarkable academic career. He is a former postdoctoral neuroscientist from University of Oxford, a man who spent years studying the brains of insects and who brings an extraordinary combination of intellectual firepower and natural warmth to everything he does. He lives in Oxford with his wife Joan, a fellow scientist he met while both were studying at Maynooth University in Ireland, and their two children. By most measures, Darragh Ennis appeared to be a man who had it all together. And that, it turns out, was precisely the problem. In July 2024, Darragh's father passed away after a battle with dementia. It was, by his own account, a devastating blow, one that arrived with cruel swiftness. Despite knowing his father had been living with the disease, the end came suddenly. Darragh has since revealed that he barely made it back home to Ireland in time to say goodbye. And in the weeks and months that followed, he did what so many of us do when we are struggling. He told himself he was fine. He told the world he was fine. He went back to work. He stood behind that famous blue desk, faced the contestants, and played the role of the menace, the unflappable, all-knowing force of nature that viewers had come to love. But inside, by his own haunting admission, he was broken. The cracks began to show on set. In high-pressure moments, the kind that Darragh had navigated effortlessly for years, he found himself falling apart in ways he had never experienced before. He described the feeling with extraordinary clarity during his appearance on ITV's Loose Women in January 2025, where he finally opened up about what he had been going through. "I was broken inside and I didn't realize," he told the panel. He spoke of trying to steady himself mentally during the most intense moments of filming, the way he always had, planting his feet psychologically and pushing through. But this time, when he reached for that familiar inner calm, there was nothing there. "When I went to put my feet down," he said, "there was nothing underneath them. I just fell away." He became camera shy for the first time in his career. The pressure overwhelmed him completely. The man who makes a living out of being unshakable had been shaken to his very core. What makes this story so compelling and so important is not just the raw honesty of a revelation, but the way Darragh initially responded to it. He tried to push through alone. He tried to shrug it off. He is, after all, a scientist by training, someone accustomed to analyzing problems and finding rational solutions. Grief, it turned out, does not respond well to that approach. The producers of The Chase noticed something was wrong. They approached him with care and compassion, offering, not demanding, that he take some time away from filming. They also arranged counseling sessions with a sports psychologist, a decision that Darragh initially found unusual but ultimately describes as a lifeline. At that point, he said, it felt like being rescued from drowning. It is a metaphor that will resonate with anyone who has ever tried to stay afloat while dealing with loss. The outpouring of public support that followed his Loose Women appearance was immediate and overwhelming. Fans flooded social media with messages of love and solidarity. One viewer wrote on X, "Just caught up on this. Lovely to see the non-chaser side of you. So good to open up and show others it's not a failing to ask for help. So sorry about your dad." Another simply said, "Wanted to send my best wishes in your journey processing grief." The response captured something that British audiences do not always make explicit, a deep affection for the people they invite into their homes each morning and afternoon, and a genuine desire to see them not just perform, but thrive. Darragh has since channeled his experience into something bigger than himself. He has become a celebrity ambassador for Adalos, a UK-wide bereavement charity dedicated to signposting support for those who have lost someone. His message is simple but vital. When someone dies, you really are at a loss. You do not know what to do. You think you are prepared. You think you can handle it. And then you discover that grief does not care about your plans, your resilience, or your reputation for being unflappable on national television. Darragh's willingness to say that publicly, to put his name and his face to that vulnerability, is precisely the kind of thing that changes lives. It also speaks to a broader shift happening in British daytime television right now. Good Morning Britain, Loose Women. This morning, these programs have increasingly become spaces where the public conversation about mental health, grief, and human fragility is happening in real time. ITV's morning lineup is going through a period of significant change too, with Good Morning Britain having relocated to ITN's headquarters on Gray's Inn Road at the start of 2026, operating under a restructured ITV News division. The program, presented by familiar faces including Susanna Reid, Kate Garraway, and Ranveer Singh, continues to set the agenda for daytime conversation in Britain. And stories like Darragh's are exactly the kind that remind audiences why morning television, at its best, is about more than news headlines and celebrity gossip. It is about the human experience in all its complicated, messy, beautiful reality. As for what comes next for Darragh himself, the picture looks genuinely bright. He returned to the chase and beat the chasers in 2025, resuming his place behind that famous desk with the support of his production team and the benefit of proper counseling behind him. He embarked on his first national live quiz tour, took his ultimate pub quiz show across Ireland in 2026, and is set to appear in a brand new ITV series called Chase Around the World, which promises to take the beloved format to an international stage. He is also developing a second book. The man who was privately drowning in grief has not just survived, he has found a way to use that experience to fuel something purposeful and lasting. The lesson in all of this is one that Darragh himself articulates better than anyone. Grief does not discriminate. It does not care how intelligent you are, how composed you appear on camera, or how well you perform under pressure on a daily basis. It arrives in its own time, on its own terms, and it demands to be felt. The bravest thing Darragh Ennis has ever done, braver, arguably, than facing down any contestant across that famous blue desk, was admitting that he was not coping and accepting the help that was offered to him. In doing so, he has given permission to countless others to do the same. So there you have it, the full story behind one of ITV's most quietly powerful moments in recent months. A brilliant mind, a hidden crisis, and a man who chose honesty over image, and in doing so, became something far more valuable than a quiz champion. He became a voice for everyone who's ever felt like they were falling apart while trying to look like they had it all together. If this story moved you, or made you think of someone in your own life, we would love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you ever found yourself hiding a personal struggle while carrying on in public life? How do you think ITV and British morning television handle conversations around grief and mental health? Are they doing enough? Drop your thoughts below because this community always has something worth saying. And if you found value in today's video, please do hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who care about these stories. Subscribe if you have not already, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest coverage of Good Morning Britain and everything happening in British morning television. We will see you in the next one.